Assalamu alaikum, sabahkum Allah wal khair, and good morning. Today we're going to be discussing what's left from scene 1, and then we're going to move to scene 2. We're going to mention some stuff about it, then we're going to move to scene 3 and see what will become of Dr. Faustus. Now, let's make a quick recap. In the previous lecture, we were introduced to a prologue, right? And that prologue was very rich. It gave us a lot of information. It told us that this is not about war, right? And he did that in a very smart way. He used a synecdoche. This is not about audacious deeds, adventures. This is not about love. This is about the fate of one man, good or bad. Then he goes in a flashback to tell us about the events that happened before the play, since the time of Dr. Faustus' birth, صح? Then he provides a very beautiful synecdoche and a foreshadow. You know, the waxing wings, right? And it foreshadowed the end of Dr. Faustus, which will be in one way or another similar to the end of Icarus, correct? And this is the man that in his study sits. Then in scene 1, we were introduced to Dr. Faustus, and he began in a very long soliloquy. He began discussing and refusing the 4 branches of knowledge one by one. He started with logic or philosophy, okay? And he gave reasons and renounced it. He went to medicine, he discussed it, and then again renounced it, rejected it. But in medicine, he gave us a small hint about what he really wants. He said that he couldn't make men live forever, and he couldn't raise the dead, meaning that he wants to cross that limit, صح? He wants to become a godlike. He moved then to law, again rejected it, and we understood that these are just mere introductions to the real thing that he really wants to discuss, which is divinity, that he really wants to reject, which is divinity. So he starts discussing divinity. He reads something from the Bible, a verse, right? But not an entire verse, but a half of the verse. So he's looking at half-truths, صح? It's not a whole truth, it's a half-truth. And that was that the reward of sin is death, and he disregarded, neglected, did not view. We don't know whether it's on purpose or not, but he did not view, he neglected the rest of the verse that talks about God's mercy. After rejecting divinity, he started talking about something new that he wants to embrace, a new form of knowledge, which is what? Necromancy. And he describes necromancy in a very strange, contrastive way. Necromantic and then heavenly. These necromantic books are heavenly, which is something truly unnatural that shows that this man is really, really confused, correct? And bit by bit, linguistically, he started to show his real intentions, that he wants to be a god. And at the end, he said, a sound magician is a mighty god. Then he asks his servant, Wagner, to go and call for his friends, Valdes and Cornelius, correct? Then we were introduced later on to new characters, very strange characters, but they are typical in literature. They are as old as literature itself, okay? They're in Arabic literature, they're in English literature. We set a lot of examples like Beauty and the Beast, right? And Tom and Jerry. Tom and Jerry is a very identical case. So we have the good angel and the evil angel. And in literary terms, we said, in literary terms, in terms of literary devices, okay? They are allegories, they are the representation of ideas and objects as characters on the stage. So actually they're not real characters, they are ideas within Dr. Faustus's mind. But in order to show them clearly to the audience, Christopher Marlowe took them from Dr. Faustus's head and put them on the stage. This is, literally speaking, in terms of literary devices. In terms of our analysis, in terms of psychology, these two characters represent id and superego, correct? Yes. And we were introduced or reminded of what is id and what is superego. And Dr. Faustus is in between. So each one of them is trying to pull him to a side, correct? And our first encounter with them seems really equal in terms of power. So they both gave their advices, right? And in a very equal way. Even if you look at the lines themselves, you're gonna see that each one of them had 4 lines. And this is significant because we're gonna see later something that is totally different. And surprising, really. So each one of them gave an advice, and then it was up to Faustus to decide. And through that response of Dr. Faustus to their advices, we understood something of great significance. This man, this scholar, is not a bad person. He's actually noble. He's actually very patriotic. What does he want to do? He wants to read strange philosophy because he's a scholar. He wants to build a wall of brass around Germany. He wants to unify the country because the country was very divided. I think it's because this or the events happen a long time after the fall of the Holy Roman Empire, okay? So every German citizen hopes and dreams of unifying Germany again. He wants to fill the public schools with silk, right? He wants to levy all soldiers. And he wants to build defensive war machines in order to protect Germany. All of these things are really patriotic, really lovely, okay? And they reflect good intentions. This man is actually a good person, not an evil person. But, as we mentioned before, in one way or another, he is depending on Machiavelli's philosophy. The end justifies the means. So he wants to turn into his unrestricted, unlimited, basic, animalistic desires in order to do what? To achieve perfection. So he wants to go with the evil angel in order to do good. He wants to go with magic in order to achieve good for the society. And we will understand later that this is technically and practically impossible. It's like taking a bribe and donating it to the poor. It simply doesn't work that way, correct? Yeah, so now we're left with Dr. Faustus. These are the things that we've dealt with, okay? We're gonna put it here, okay? Just in preparation, and we're gonna deal with the rest of scene 1, then move to scene 2. We're left with Dr. Faustus, a meeting with his 2 so-called friends, Valdes and Cornelius. And before we begin reading, I want you to think of this question. Are they really his friends? Well, no, why? Yeah.
They want to use him because he is a scholar. He knows much knowledge to use the magic, the black magic.
That's good. That's good. So, yeah, but how? Like, how would they use it?
They would conceive him.
Okay, you're right, but you're not putting things in order. Okay, so let's read it together, and you'll have a direct answer to that question. Okay, enter Valdes and Cornelius. Valdes, sweet Valdes and Cornelius, know that your words have won me at the last to practice magic and concealed arts. Yet, not your words only, but mine own fantasy that will receive no object for my head, but remnants of necromantic skill. Okay, so it appears that they've already spoken to him, they've already tried to tempt him and convince him to practice magic, and now he is convinced. Their words won him, right? But he does not want to practice only what they've learned, but he wants to do whatever he wants to do. To say, be and it shall be. As if he's a god or a godlike. Philosophy is audacious and obscure. Both law and physic are for petty wits. Divinity is basest of the 3, unpleasant, harsh, contemptible, and vile. This is a very important line that shows Dr. Faustus's confusion, the extent of his confusion. As you can remember, he said that necromantic books are heavenly, correct? Now he describes divinity as something vile and contemptible. Okay? It is magic, magic that hath ravaged me. Then, gentle friends, aid me in this attempt, and I, that have with concise syllogism gravelled the pastors of the German church and made the flowering pride of Wittenberg, swarm to my problems as the infernal spirits on sweet Moses when he came to hell, will be as cunning as Agrippa was, whose shadows made all Europe honor him. Okay, so he promises by his great deeds that happened before that he will be a great magician. He will be like Moses, not the prophet, a magician called Moses. Okay, and as Agrippa was. Now again, Dr. Faustus thinks that Agrippa was honored. Agrippa was a magician who dealt again with the devil, I think. Agrippa was not honored at all. He was feared. He was despised. Again, Dr. Faustus is confused to think that Agrippa and other magicians are honored. Let's see how they will try to encourage him and tempt him into practicing magic. Faustus, these books, thy wit and our experience, quite the combination, huh? shall make all nations to canonize us. As Indian Moors obey their Spanish lords, so shall the spirits of every element be always serviceable to us three. Like lions shall they guard us when we please, like Alamein rutters with their horsemen's staves, or Lapland giants tottering by our sides. Sometimes like women or unwedded maids, shadowing more beauty in their airy brows than in the white breasts of the Queen of Love. From Venice shall they drag huge argosies, and from America the golden fleece that yearly stuffs old Philip's treasury. If learned Faustus will be resolute, if you're courageous enough, if you're brave enough, all these things will happen. The spirits will guide us, will lead us, will guard us, will protect us, and serve us as if they were slaves, as if they were beautiful maids and women. Tempting, huh? Really tempting. Valdes, as resolute am I in this, as though to live. Therefore, object it not. I do not object anything that you said. The miracles that magic will perform will make thee vow to study nothing else. He that is grounded in astrology, enriched with tongues, well seen in minerals, hath all the principles magic doth require. Here's your answer. Why do they need him? Because of this. Again, because he's a scholar. He knows astrology, so he can map the stars and read them, right? He knows ancient languages like Latin, Hebrew, and Aramaic, in which basically magical books are written, okay? He knows the elements, or let's say, as he says, as he puts it, the minerals. What is known back in his days as magic is known to us today as chemistry, okay? So as a scholar, he is also a chemist, right? Now, those two, are they scholars? No, they are not. They're regular people who practiced magic. So to them, they were just cracking symbols and codes. But with his help, with his abilities, he can read, he can map, right? And he can mix minerals together. So he's the real deal, right? Through him, they will be able to learn and understand magic more and more. So are they really his friends? No, they just want to use him, or actually abuse him, right? Then doubt not, Faustus, but to be renowned and more frequented for this mystery than heretofore the dolphin oracle. The spirits tell me they can dry the sea and fetch the treasure of all foreign wrecks, aye, all the wealth that our forefathers hid within the massy eternals of the earth. Then tell me, Faustus, what shall we three want? What do you think Faustus would want? Is he poor? Is he an ignorant? What else? Is he in need of anything that is material or physical, probably? What does he want? He wants to satisfy his pride, right? He's just not getting enough. So what does he want? We'll see. Then tell me, Faustus, what shall we three want? Nothing, Cornelius. Oh, this cheers my soul. as if it's just for the fun of it, right? And this is the problem with scholars. They can't get enough. Sometimes they try to break the limits. No matter what the limits are, okay? They try to break the limits just to satisfy themselves. It's a pleasure to be the breakthrough, right? So this is the case of Faustus. His pride wouldn't let him be satisfied. So he went from being, he wants to break from being a human with human limitations into controlling all and becoming godlike. Nothing, Cornelius. Oh, this cheers my soul. Come show me some demonstrations magical, that I may conjure in some lusty grove, and have these joys in full possession. Then haste thee to some solitary grove, and bear wise Bacchus and Abnus works, the Hebrew Latter and New Testament, and whatsoever else is requisite. We will inform thee before our conference cease. We'll teach you before we leave. Valdes, first let him know the words of art, and then all other ceremonies learned. Faustus may try his cunning by himself. First, I'll instruct thee in the rudiments, and then wilt thou be perfecter than I. Then come and dine with me, and after meat we'll canvass every quiddity thereof. For before I sleep, I'll try what I can do. This night I'll conjure, though I die therefore. And they exit. So Faustus is so persistent that he will break that limit today. Today he will conjure and, try to become godlike. So this is the end of the first tragic, really serious scene. This play is actually composed of two forms of scenes: a tragic scene and a comic scene. Then another tragic scene, then another comic scene, and like this. Now some say that these comic scenes were not written by Christopher Marlowe himself, but they were inserted into the play, along the time. I do not believe in that. Do you know why? Because they have that consistency that goes with the tragic scenes. They function in a very proper and beautiful way. And the messages and the echoings that they produce are perfectly harmonic to the tragic scenes. So even the style of writing. So I do believe that Christopher Marlowe wrote these scenes because they simply function 100% properly. Okay? Now the second scene is not a scene to be read out loud, truly. Okay? The significance of it is to realize the real function of the comic scenes. And by the way, do you remember their interludes? Yeah. Do you remember that they grew in between plays, okay, as small comic social reliefs, okay, and they grew until they became independent scenes? Well, here they are, okay, here they are. And they function in a certain way. First of all, they are there to relieve tension and suspense. We've just finished a very tragic scene, a very serious scene. We're all tense, right? If we continue with another tragic, then you're gonna get a headache, okay? But when you have a comic relief, a comic scene, you will get ready. You will be prepared for the upcoming tragic scene. So this is first. Second, they would provide smile. A small, slight smile on your face. Not a laughter, just a smile. Remember, this is a tragedy. So a smile is enough. Third, they're gonna show the same events of the tragic scenes, but from a different angle. It's like having a camera, okay, and viewing the scene from different locations. So, I've been in that situation before. Some students would think that Faustus is right in his choices, okay? One of them once said that if I were him, if I had the same opportunity, I would take it. Really? Yeah, really. So this is where the comic scene actually functions. It would show you the events from a different view, and you will see that Dr. Faustus is actually involved in a joke. To him, from that point of view, it's really serious. Maybe it's a choice that's worth taking, right? But from a different angle, it's a joke. He was fooled. And it is important to see that, because we don't want you to agree and do like something like Faustus did, okay? Yeah. And another important function is that when the comic scenes show the degradation and the deviation of the tragic characters, we will witness a scene which is basically comic, but it involves something that is called dark comedy. Yeah, it would at the beginning produce smile, but then you're gonna sense a sense of bitterness in your heart. I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to, ruin it. Let's keep it that way until we reach that scene. So these are the functions, the main functions of comic scenes. Now, in every comic scene, every upcoming comic scene, we're gonna have probably all of these working, right? But there will be this one function that would stand out. Get it? It's gonna stand out from the rest. Okay, so now we're done with these. Okay, so scene 3. Faustus is about to conjure. So let me tell you ahead what's going to happen. So there is this disgusting thing that magicians do. They would lay a circle, they would draw a circle, okay? And inside the circle there would be some sort of a star, okay? And they would put Jehovah's name or God's name in the center. And on the circle they would write the names of saints or maybe prophets or something like that, okay? And they would sacrifice animals, blood for the devil in the name of the devil, and they would hold a holy book, whether it's the Holy Testament, the New Testament, whatever, okay? And they would read it backwards. And of course, there would be a certain alignment of stars. So it's not every day or every night, or no, there are specific dates for that. So they would read backwards, so they would invoke the devil. And if the devil goes over their control, they can't control it anymore, they would read forwards. as if they were believers. So the devil would calm down or disappear again. So this is how they manipulate and discriminate, and sorry, not discriminate, but it's a sacrilegious practice. It's an awful practice, and they're doing it with God's words. They're doing it with holy books, holy scriptures. So this is what Faustus is about to do, right? Enter Faustus to conjure. Now that the gloomy shadow of the earth, longed to view Orion's drizzling look, leaps from the Antarctic world unto the sky, and dims the welkin with her pitchy breath. Faustus, begin thy incantation, and try if devils will obey thy haste. Seeing thou hast prayed and sacrificed to them, within this circle is Jehovah's name, forward and backward, anagrammatized, the abbreviated names of holy saints, figures of every adjunct to the heavens, and characters of signs and earring stars by which the spirits are enforced to rise. Then fear not, Faustus, but be resolute, and try the uttermost magic can perform. Now, you can notice that sorry about that. You can notice that the word resolute, be resolute is reoccurring. And up to this moment, it appeared 3 times. When someone tells himself, be brave, be brave, be brave, what does that tell you? What? His what? Where are you? Yeah, you're here, okay? He's what? He's hesitant. Or we can say that he's afraid. He's encouraging himself. Be resolute, be courageous, be brave, right? Because he's afraid. And what else? Notice that he casts a spell, right? He casts a spell. Look at the last word in the spell. Mephostophilis. He invokes Mephostophilis, a demon. Enter a devil. I charge thee to return and change thy shape. Thou art too ugly to attend on me. Go and return an old Franciscan friar. That holy shape becomes a devil best. Exit devil. The devil appears. I order you to go back and change your shape. You're too ugly to appear before me. Go and come back as an old priest, a Franciscan friar or priest. Why? Come on, think about it. Why a priest? Anyone? Yeah? Exactly. Because his eye is accustomed, he's a student of divinity, right? So his eye is accustomed to the looks of old priests. So because he's afraid, again, this shows that he is afraid. His eye is more accustomed, so he would feel more comfortable looking at something that is familiar, right? This is first. Second is actually related to Christopher Marlowe himself, the playwright. He wants to send a message telling that all priests, that holy shape fits a devil best. So the shape of a holy man is the best disguise for the devils. Meaning that all the priests in Germany and England as well are devils. All holy men are devils. Yeah. So, and we know Christopher Marlowe and his relationship to priests and the church in general, right? So that was a great insult. Okay. I see there is virtue in my heavenly words. Again, that confusion. He's reading necromantic books, he's practicing magic, and by habit maybe by habit because he's a scholar of divinity, he's saying, I see virtue in my heavenly words. Who would not be proficient in this art? How plain is this Mephistophilis, full of obedience and humility. Such is the force of magic and my spells. His pride is actually speaking, right? Yeah. Obedient and full of humility. Is this the nature of devils? They rebelled against God. Would they be at any rate obedient to man? This is out of the question, right? He does not see it. Now, Faustus, thou art conjurer laureate. You're a professional conjurer that canst command great Mephistophilis. He spells again and enter Mephistophilis. Now, Faustus, what wouldst thou have me do? I charge thee, wait upon me whilst I live, to do whatever Faustus shall command, be it to make the moon drop from her sphere, or the ocean to overwhelm the world. Even if I ask for the impossibles, you will do it. Listen to the answer. I am a servant to great Lucifer, and may not follow thee without his leave. No more than he commands must we perform. Probably this is the first disappointment. He cannot really control them, right? They belong to someone else. He does not see it. He does not see it. Did not he charge thee to appear to me? No, I came now hither on mine own accord. I came on my own responsibility. Did not my conjuring speeches raise thee? Speak. That was the cause, but yet per accident. Yes, it was the conjuring, but not the conjuring itself. It's an accident. It's an accident that you were conjuring. Okay? Let's see what was really happening and how this devil was invoked. For when we hear one wreck the name of God, abjure the scriptures and his Savior Christ, we fly in hope to get his glorious soul. Nor will we come unless he use such means whereby he is in danger to be damned. Therefore, the shortest cut for conjuring is stoutly to abjure the Trinity and pray devoutly to the Prince of Hell. Okay, so it was an accident that you were conjuring. For when we hear one wreck the name of God, abjure the scriptures and his Savior Christ, we fly in hope to get his glorious soul. Glorious soul. Look at the description. They know, they understand, they conceive that the soul is glorious because it belongs to God himself. We'll see what Faustus will do with that soul. Okay, back. So it was not the conjuring, it was the blasphemy. He spoke ill of God, the scriptures, and of Jesus Christ. That's what really invoked the devil, not the conjuring. So the shortest cut for conjuring is to blasphemize the name of God. Get it? You get it? Okay. So it was not his magic, not his science, not his knowledge, nada at all. It was the blasphemy. And anyone can commit blasphemy, right? Yeah. Not a big deal after all. So Faustus already done and holds this principle. There is no chief but only Beelzebub. Again, he commits blasphemy. To whom Faustus doth dedicate himself, this word damnation terrifies not him, for he confounds hell in Elysium. Hell in Elysium. Elysium is the concept of the afterlife in Roman mythology. It's hell and heaven in mythology. Okay? So he confides it with what? With our heaven and hell, with our concept of heaven and hell. So basically he's saying, I confuse this with this, meaning I don't believe in either of them. Get it? His ghost be with the old philosophers, meaning the atheists, but leaving these vain trifles of men's souls. Tell me, what is that Lucifer thy Lord? He's asking about Lucifer. Archregent and commander of all spirits. Was not that Lucifer an angel once? Well, he knows, because he's a scholar of divinity, but he wants the devil to speak, to let out. Yes, Faustus, and most dearly loved of God. How comes it then that he is prince of devils? Oh, by aspiring pride and insolence. Pride and insolence. Does it ring a bell?
It's like Dr.Faustus.
Exactly, they share the same tragic flaw, right? And the devil lost and fell. He was an angel, right? So it's another foreshadow, by the way. It just came across my mind. It's another foreshadow. The devil was an angel once, right? Very close to God, very close to heaven. Because of pride and insolence, he fell to hell. He is hell itself, right? And now we have Dr. Faustus, who is really close to heaven. And because of pride and insolence, he will probably end up in a worse fate. So that's a really good foreshadow if you look into it. For which God threw him from the face of heaven. And what are you that live with Lucifer? Unhappy spirits that fell with Lucifer, conspired against our God with Lucifer, and are forever damned with Lucifer. With Lucifer, with Lucifer, with Lucifer. That repetition, it gives you the tone of sadness, right? As if there is a lot of sorrow, a lot of regret in it. But tell me, is it enough to be sorry? Is it enough to have regret? You know, you should redeem your deeds, right? Make up for them. There are consequences for whatever choice you make, whether good or bad. So, is sorry enough? No, it is not. You have to have repentance. Did they? They did not. And they will not. Where are you damned? In hell. How comes it then that thou art out of hell? Now he asks about the location of hell, and he asks about the duality. How are you in hell, and how are you here at the same time? Why, this is hell, nor am I out of it. Think as though that I, who saw the face of God and tasted the eternal joys of heaven, am not tormented with 10,000 hells, and being deprived of everlasting bliss. O Faustus, leave these frivolous demands, which strike a terror to my fainting soul. That's a very, very, very significant quotation. It holds a lot of meaning. So the devil informs Faustus that hell is not a place, it's a condition. Why? Because he saw the face of God. He tasted the eternal joys. He was in heaven. Then everything was taken from him forever. So it is that condition that is hell. And then, as if the devil begs Faustus to quit that practice. This is a devil speaking. Why is he being honest? Before that, do you remember the chiefest bless, right? Mercy. Okay, so they lost mercy. Okay. And keep in mind the fainting soul. And this is the question. Remind me of the fainting soul, would you? Yeah. Why is the devil so honest? Shouldn't he be a trickster? Huh? Shouldn't he be tricking Faustus into damnation? Right? Yeah?
Because he wants being close to God, and now he's...
Yeah, but his job is to tempt Faustus. Right? Why is he being so honest? Okay. Remember the first lines when he appeared. It was per accident. It was per accident. So he's not commanded right now by Lucifer to tempt him. Okay, so he's here with Faustus on his own free will for now. So the tempting might start later. But now, coming by accident, talking to Faustus face to face freely, he's telling Faustus that you're not going in the right way. Please quit. Okay. The fainting souls. Let me ask you a question. If you were to go against a lion, what would you take for your aid?
Or than a gun.
No, not as a weapon, but as an aid. What or who will you take with you?
Someone powerful.
For example, I would choose to ride an elephant, right? Or be with the company of an elephant, right? Because an elephant can actually match a lion, maybe even scare him, or at least, you know, it would be a very defensive strategy, right? Okay, I wouldn't take a fox with me to fight an elephant, a lion, sorry. Huh? Am I right? So, Dr. Faustus is seeking the aid of the devils in order to go against God himself. He forgets that they are defeated souls. And who defeated them? God. They are fainting souls, fragile, broken, deformed souls. And he wants their aid to go against God. Now, when you put it that way, it's not logical, right? They are already defeated by God himself, and you want their aid to go against God? See? That's the case. What is great Mephistophilis so passionate for being deprived of the joys of heaven? Learn thou of Faustus' manly fortitude, and scorn those joys thou never shalt possess. Why are you sad about this? Know that Faustus, fortitude himself, he does not want these joys that he didn't even get, okay? Go bear these tidings to great Lucifer, seeing Faustus hath incurred eternal death by desperate thoughts against Jove's deity, against God. Say he surrenders up to him his soul, so he will spare him 24 years, letting him live in all voluptuousness, having thee ever to attend on me, to give me whatsoever I shall ask, to tell me whatsoever I demand, to slay my enemies and aid my friends, and always be obedient to my will. Go and return to mighty Lucifer, and meet me in my study at midnight, and then resolve me of thy master's mind. I will, Faustus, exit the devil. So, did anyone push him? Did anyone force him? That is very odd. He is so confused that he didn't even negotiate anything. Did you see it? He is the one who voluntarily gave his soul, or trying to give his soul. No one has forced him into it. This is very, very strange. Had I as many souls as there be stars, I'll give them all for Mephistophilis. This is how blinded this man is. By him, I'll be great emperor of the world, and make a bridge through the moving air, to pass the ocean with a band of men. I'll join the hills that bind the Afric shore, and make that land continent to Spain, and both contributory to my crown. The emperor shall not live but by my leave, nor any potentiate of Germany. Now that I have obtained what I desire, I'll live in speculation of this art, till Mephistophilis returns again. So he is still pressing with full blindness. that he wants to practice and sell his soul to the devil in order to practice magic. Okay. Should we stop here or should we continue to scene 4? I would love to go on to scene 4. Yeah. So what say you? Should we continue or should we stop here? Stop here? Oh, you lazy little kids. Okay. Any questions? Any questions? Is there anything that you want to ask about? Something to argue? Something you object to? Yeah.
We said that Dr. Faustus has an ed, which is the devils. So Dr. Faustus has an ed with devils to go against the God. Right, we said that.
Excuse me?
Dr. Faustus has an ed, which is the...
No, the ed is different. The ed is not really a devil. We call him, Christopher Marlowe called him evil angel. This is part of his thinking. This is part of his brain. This is not a real devil.
An evil act, but he does not want to go against the God. He have good deeds, as we said in the first.
Well, the evil angel encourages Dr. Faustus to go that way in order to achieve what he wants to achieve. In order to be a deity, to become a godlike. Okay? This is the evil angel. You got it? So you had a misconception? Okay. Come to the end of our lecture. Thank you guys very much indeed. Class dismissed.